Alright, so let's continue. Previously, we already know that there are specific U.S. source income rule, right? So U.S. source income rule. So you have to really think about how much portion of your income actually from U.S. source, because there are special rules for that. And of course, revenue from the U.S. viewers may be U.S. source. So as long as U.S. source, the special rule will apply. Okay. So here's another thing. There's a concept called withholding tax. That means if they don't know anything about the information that you didn't provide information, so they will withhold to a certain higher amount, higher proportion of the total income. And maybe in some cases treat everything as US source income. Okay? So that's a really high bracket, tax bracket you have to really think about. Okay? So let's just not worry about this, but rather let's look at this. How to avoid that? Because most of the time, whether you're creators or maybe you are, say, you hold a website, you use AdSense, as long as you use AdSense, or you use, say, AdMob as a sort of a provider, like you got a lot of traffic to your website, to your ads, to your whatever product, SaaS product, whatever, and you want to monetize through ads. For creators, to be honest, I think they most of the time, like whether they've got like a YouTube creators partnership, something like that, they still benefit from the advertisement. So that's the reason creators also use the AdSense as a special channel. Okay, but here's the thing: we want to avoid this like a default withholding really high rates. So we need these two forms. Okay. If you are a non-US person, okay, so from Canada, from Australia, from Japan, from Singapore, doesn't really matter. Okay, as long as you are the creators or the traffic source, platform holder, something like that, right? As long as you are not US, you're going to submit this form to show that you are a foreign person. You got like identity that is not US. Okay, and then depending on whether you're individual or your entities, you submit different form. This W-8BEN is for individual, and W-8BNE is for entities, right? E for entity. So that means you need to submit this information to the platform, whether it's Google or whatever platform that you generate your revenue. They need to pay you, so they're required to collect this information. And you know what? You submit this form. Most of the time, bigger platform will provide a sort of a test onboarding questionnaire for you, right? It's just to say, oh, what about are you US citizens, or do you have a green card, something like that? Just a series of questionnaire, and they will fill that information automatically after you finish answering the questionnaire. And of course, they will pop up some of the say, hey, are you, say, you're from this country, right? This country have some treaty with the United States, and you know what? Do you want to claim these treaty benefits? And they will say, oh, most of the people will claim unless you have some special reasons not to. Okay, and then you will automatically reduce the withholding percentage. Okay, so for example, for AdSense, there's a like tax tool. I'm going to show you in a bit. Okay, let me show you this. So for example, you go to the AdSense, Google AdSense here. Right, let me just give you. So of course, the website will constantly update. Okay, so just go to payment, because that's the tax information. Often you just like you don't even feel it unless you want to receive money. Okay, so most of the time it's at the payment section. Of course, if it's not the AdSense that you are using other platform, most of the time it's like the financial information and payment information here. The payment information, and then you can go here. You can see this like onboarding process, payment settings, the manage tax information, US tax information. We got like onboarding process. You can see that we got W-8BEN tax form, verify your tax identity, and then you fill this taxpayer identification number. And you can see that we got a foreign TIN, which stands for tax identification number, or US ITIN or SSN. Okay, so if you fill here, most likely that you are a US citizen, right? A US person. So you may not be able to use this form. Okay, they may just say, hey, you just automatically reject it right away because you know what, that's not the correct form for you, right? So you have to be really aware of that, because the tax bracket, the tax information, the percentage of withholding, whether you are a US person or you are a foreigner, is completely different.